it's Patty, and welcome to Anatomy of a Dinner Party Masterclass Series. Tonight we're cooking with Chef Jeffrey Gardner from South City Kitchen here in Atlanta. We're so excited to have him. We'll be doing some cooking in a tagine, which is Moroccan cooking, and we'll be doing some chicken and lemon and olives all together. We're looking forward to having him here with us, and I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. Thanks so much. Hi, thanks for joining us again. I'm here with Chef Jeffrey Gardner from South City Kitchen. Chef Jeffrey, we're so happy you could be here.
I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. And Chef Jeffrey really loves Moroccan cuisine as well, so can you tell me a little bit about your experiences with Moroccan cuisine?
My experiences with Moroccan cuisine are pretty much self-taught. Every Sunday night in the restaurant we do family meal for all of the service staff, and you kind of get to a point where you're trying to disguise chicken and rice 8 different ways in 8 different weeks to make your friends feel like they aren't getting the same meal every once in a while. And so we depend on spices, and Moroccan cuisine is a very spice-heavy cuisine. You see a lot of dry, very intense, hot climates up there, so there's not a lot of produce, which is wonderful to be able to keep a pantry stock for Moroccan food and Moroccan cuisine. And it's just it's so flavorful, and very few ingredients needed to make something really spectacular.
Excellent. So let's get started.
So for the chicken, we're going to give it a nice little spice rub. Here I have some cumin, some ground turmeric, some cinnamon, some fresh ground pepper, a little bit of paprika, and some ground ginger. We're going to toss this with a little bit of salt. You're going to go a touch easy on the salt going in because the olives and the preserved lemon will give it some salinity. But other than that, we'll just rub this around the chicken and let it sit for about an hour.
Jeffrey's going to show us how to put this all together with the spices. And we've got, I think it's 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Yes.
And I measured it out because I wanted everything to be a nice mise en place for you when you got here.
And I appreciate that so much. You don't have to go to the trouble with this for little old me. Anytime if you're ever going to try and measure tablespoons of oil just one time around the pan, in a hot pan, equivalent of a tablespoon.
Easy enough.
Less to worry, less tablespoons to wash afterwards.
I love it. Great. Okay, let's put this together.
Light meat, so we've got legs and thighs here. Going to go into our bowl here, and then we're going to give those a nice light coating of salt. Part of that will help the rub adhere. You can see our chicken is patted dry, so whenever it does hit the hot pan, you won't have that splatter of the moisture hitting the chicken, and it will also aid in giving a nice caramelization on the outside of the bird.
And if you have chicken that's not patted dry, it's not going to get that same kind of crust on the skin. Is that right?
Absolutely. Water is a barrier. It's the enemy of all fried foods, and it's the enemy of all things that we want to be golden brown and delicious.
We want that.
Our way to chicken nirvana. Now we've got our spice blend here, and we're just going to kind of mix that around in the bowl on our plate here.
Can I hold this for you?
Absolutely. All right, all the kids in the pool here. And we'll just give it a toss with this. If we need to revert to the hands, we can do that. I think we can get it all.
Our cook's greatest tools.
That's right. Biscuits never knew better friends.
That's right.
All right, so we're just going to let this hang out for about an hour so the spices can penetrate into the meat and impart a nice flavor before we go into our tagine.
What would happen if we went ahead and used it right now? Would we just not have the same amount of flavor?
If we use it right now, all the spice would be concentrated to the surface. It's kind of like doing a barbecue rub. You really want that spice to penetrate into the meat, without necessarily rubbing it in. It will get some of that nice blend all the way down into the fibers of the meat itself, not just on the surface.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about our tagine. Our tagine today is being provided by the lovely people at Becca Cookware, and we're so excited to have it. And can you tell us a little bit about how the tagine works, Chef Jeffrey?
A tagine is a wonderful cooking vessel, great for kind of the one-pot wonder style of meals that you see a lot in Moroccan cuisine. You've got a really heavy, traditionally you see ceramic base. This looks to be a little more of a cast iron base to it, so you can get a great color, you can get some caramelization on your food, but then the conical shape from the top allows for convection, so it's really ideal for braised dishes and an even cooking all the way throughout because the heat will be able to circulate all the way up to the top and it'll cook a lot more evenly.
What if you didn't have a tagine? What could you use instead?
If you have a tagine, you could use a Dutch oven. Cast iron would be wonderful, but if not, any kind of ceramic vessel, casserole dish that could withstand the heat to be on top of the stovetop would be just fine as well.
So we're going to use Chef Jeffrey's special little hint. We're going to go just twice around the pan, and that'll make it 2 tablespoons. Okay. Our pan is really, really hot right now.
Be able to hear the Hollywood sizzle when the chicken hits.
Yep.
Yeah,
there it is.
Exactly what we're looking for.
It's gorgeous.
We can do this in multiple batches if we need to. The important thing is to not crowd the pan. Because if you crowd the pan, that will help create some steam. And steam will be very bad for your eating and getting golden brown and delicious.
And we've got this up on high. Do we want it to be on high?
Initially, to get some color, yes, we're going to want it to be on high. If you're starting to hear the spatter like that, that's a bit high, so I'm going to turn it down to medium.
Okay.
And just kind of let the chicken do its thing.
Jeffrey, what do we do next? We're going to take this out and let it drain a little bit, yeah?
Right, we turn it over, we got some nice caramelization, some beautiful golden brown color on this on the skin of the thighs here. The thighs are going to take the longest to cook, so we're going to move these to a plate so we can then put our drumsticks in and let those continue cooking. Again, if we were to put them all in at the same time, a lot of the chicken would release its water, and you would never really get that great color and the richness of the caramelization that you want. Alright, so now that our chicken has got some nice color on one side, we were able to put it all back into the pan. We're going to give it a flip over.
It smells so good.
Good night, Irene.
And look at that beautiful Becca Tajine.
Alright, so now that the chicken is turned over, we're going to be able to go in with our aromatics, starting with what's going to take the longest time to cook. So we're going to go in with our onions.
Okay.
Not really going to need to sweat these. We're almost going to braise these with the rest of the Tajine ingredients. So
they're not browning. They're
not browning. The natural heat from the pan, let's kind of sweat them off together on their own. The garlic should go in about the same time. The onions are cut small enough to.
Now, how do you keep the garlic from burning? I know that can be tough sometimes.
The way to keep garlic from burning would be to cut your onions small. If you're going to put them in at roughly the same time. So they cook at a relatively similar speed. If not, just keep moving them around.
What are we adding next, Chef?
Alright, so now that the onions and the garlic have this wonderful... I wish you had smell vision.
It smells so good.
I know. Be jealous. You should be. So the onions and the garlic have a nice soft texture to them, so we're going to go in with the rest of our aromatics. We've got some pitted green olives. You can really use any kind of olive you want. Green is more, the manzanilla are more traditional to that part of the world, so we're going to go in with those. You could really use any dried fruit you want. Dried apricots are, I think, more commonplace from what you see over there. So, and they're also my favorite. So
mine too.
We're going to go with some dried apricots to this. We got a really cool ingredient, some preserved lemon. A way to make preserved lemons, it takes about 2 weeks. You cut a little slit in some whole lemons, and you pack them in a mixture of lemon juice, a lot of salt, and a little bit of sugar. And you keep them in a very airtight environment, and the natural fermentation will completely soften the lemon rind. And when you look to cut them open, you need to get rid of all of the flesh that's inside of the lemon. Kind of reminds you of tasting dish detergent. You know.
Nobody wants that.
I don't.
No.
I don't want to meet anybody who does. And so you've got this beautiful, fragrant, salty, but lemon-tasting rind. It's very soft, adds some great complexity and depth to anything. If you try it with raw fish, it'll blow your mind apart. But in this, especially something that's going to braise, it's going to add a nice lemony fragrance to the rest of it.
And it's a staple in Moroccan cooking, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, again, we talked about being very pantry-focused. It's a very hot, harsh environment, so not a lot of fresh produce. So you have to add flavor whenever you can get to it and keep it throughout the environment. So you may have lemons, but not be able to maintain them year-round. So if you preserve them, you'll be able to get that great flavor any time of the year.
Right.
And just a little bit of water.
About a half a cup.
That's going to create that steam, that convection that we want. And then, I'm going to put the little Devo hat on top of the Tajine. And we're just going to let this go for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Whip it.
Whip it good. Alright, so the chicken has been in here for about 30 minutes. It's essentially working on like a braise. It's now broken down. It's delicious. That sauce has developed. Some of the rendered fat from the chicken has helped to enrich it. It's going to be a really fabulous sauce. You're going to see the steam come up when we lift this lid. Yeah, baby.
Yum, yum, yum.
See, I've got a nice, rich sauce that's come together. It's not very liquidy. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my God, it smells so good.
What is not to love here? And we still retain that crust on the chicken. This is going to be fabulous, y'all.
Thank you, Becca, for the beautiful tagine. It's finally time for us to do the finishing touches on it. We're going to add some cilantro and some parsley into it. Sheffrey, you want to do that for us?
Absolutely. This moment where the moment of truth where the magic happens. Yeah.
It smells so good.
You should be in here. If you're not, too bad for you. The cilantro in and the parsley. One reason we're adding the herbs at the end is we want their maximum fragrant qualities to come through, and also the less exposure they have to heat, the less likely they are to brown. So not only for flavor, but for color as well.
Okay, time to taste it. You ready?
Absolutely. We've got our chicken tagine, as well as some Moroccan-style couscous, as well as a little spiced carrot salad. It's flavored with some harissa, a nice fiery Moroccan condiment, and a little bit of cumin. Should be a great accompaniment with the chicken tagine.
I'm excited. And Sheffrey is having some red, and I'm having some white. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for
so
having
much
us.
fun.
Let's give it a shot.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness, you get the spices, we get the dried fruit, the preserved lemon, get those passports from Marrakesh stamp people. This dish is rocking the Casbah so hard, even Sharif's gonna like it.